Hey guys, Matthew Lundeen here in the Critical Spectrum. I just want to take some time at the beginning of this episode to talk about some technical difficulties. Namely, whenever we record the show and however we record it, be it through Discord or in Colin's little studio that he has set up, sometimes there are difficulties that arise, issues that come up, and some of these issues can be solved in post. Others we just don't really notice until the show has gone up and one of us have listened to it, or we get some feedback from you, the listeners. We're always trying to improve and get better so that we can give you guys the most entertaining show we can. And I apologize if any part of the show is ever difficult to hear or difficult to understand. And I want to try and be better so that I can give you a product that you will enjoy 100% of the time. And I just want to say thank you for continuing to support the show. And we hope that you'll continue supporting it. So without further ado, that was really just it. We're trying to get better. I hope you'll stay with us as we learn. But in the meantime, here's the new episode.
You shared it? Fuck.
Yeah, that was the first thing we heard. It was you yelling.
Oh, is that a fucking Dr. Pepper?
I brought it it was originally from my house. I brought 3 cans to my cousin's place while I was cat sitting. And I didn't drink the last one, so I'm drinking it now.
You bitch.
It's been in his fridge since I got to his house.
You didn't bring me a Dr. Pepper?
I only had the one, and I didn't stop back at home.
No, you had 3, technically.
I drank 2 of them over the last couple of days.
Wow. I'm hurt. Why doesn't...
Episode 22, like the movie...
Is it 22, not 23?
No, yeah, because last episode was...
21?
21,
Yeah,
because you made that joke. 22, like the movie Mile 22, starring...
I was going to say 22 Jump Street.
Starring Mark Wahlberg. Colin just walked out, so I'm just going to keep this reference going.
Where the fuck is he going?
Oh, man, I just realized that this is a window.
There's a window there?
There's a window.
Why?
There's a window. I can see Colin. I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? There's always so much shit there. I didn't notice.
In an emptied out studio right now, basically.
I'm going to be really sad when we have to go back to doing this over Discord.
Oof. Oh, we don't have to. We'll just have to do some kind of mobile studio.
Colin will have to learn how to use this technology, and then we'll just have to move this technology into...
I like it.
Into our new place.
Colin, what software are you using, bro? We got Logic Pro? Nice. I'm sorry, I'll buy it on a MacBook.
We should probably switch to Adobe Audition.
Maybe. Yeah, well, I mean, considering Logic Pro is like $200.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Creative Cloud is like $300 a year.
Oh, it's a year? You pay it once.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So maybe we go for this.
Yeah,
but with Creative Cloud, I can get everything.
Yeah, well, Logic Pro is only on Mac.
And I only use PC. So there's our issue. But yeah, Mile 22 is a shitty movie that I watched on the plane ride going to Japan.
Dead man walking down the Green Mile.
It was directed by Peter Berg, who usually, when he works with Mark Wahlberg, great success. They did Lone Survivor together.
Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Has Mark Wahlberg been in any new movies?
He's in that new...
that were good.
But he's in that new movie with Chiwetel Ejiofor. Every time I bring up his name, you give me that look.
Mordo
from Doctor Strange. He's in that new movie for Paramount Plus called Infinite, where it's like...
Oh, for Paramount Plus? I'm never going to watch that.
Yeah, but...
Shit, who
don't you want
Paramount Plus?
But here's the thing. The only reason I would ever consider getting Paramount Plus is because the new...
SpongeBob, obviously.
No, because iCarly.
Which I've never seen.
The new iCarly.
Wait, you've never seen iCarly?
You never watched iCarly?
What?
No.
No, you had a reason why.
No, I just literally because I didn't know it existed when it was airing, so I didn't know it was a popular thing.
I still remember.
I also don't think I had cable at the time, so
I think that's probably the first reason why.
I still remember when Bailey. Remember Bailey from LT? Bailey Bloom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember he was heartbroken. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my free time when iCarly goes off the air.
When was this? Middle school?
It was high school. No, freshman year.
Fuck, I actually have no idea why I didn't watch it then, because I had cable at the time.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
But
Carly's good. It was alright. Actually, I don't remember watching all of it.
shit, I don't even remember what it was
enjoying
about besides someone being a... Never mind, I'm not going to make that joke.
No, say it.
Yeah, no, now I want to hear it.
You were
No,
going to
I
say
wanna hear it
Camp
now.
weren't you?
I was, yes.
Mhm. I know your humor.
It's too dark.
There was
It's not too dark. People said, I think there was an article people kept memeing on where they said because probably because the audience has grown with
There's gonna be, like, sexual
there's
stuff
going to
in
be
it.
some sexual content, and then everybody kept making jokes like, "Oh man, Spencer's going to be such a freak in this new series." The older brother.
Frank was telling me there was like a bunch of memes because I guess on one of the show or episodes or whatever that did random dancing was a thing.
Mm.
And he's like, now everybody's memeing random fucking. It just goes around like fucking random people.
Yeah. That'll be funny. She recreated Miranda Cosgrove,
The
the
interesting
queen.
meme.
She recreated the meme that
She'll
that
forever
had been-
be Megan.
that had originally been created when in the first series where she was just on the computer and had a can of soda. It was like interesting and just drank from it. She recreated it in the premiere of the
Wait,
new
is that from
series.
iCarly? I totally
It's from
thought that was
iCarly.
from Drake and Josh.
It's from like the Drake and Josh crossover episode or something.
Wait, there's a crossover.
Wait, there was a
episode?
crossover episode?
I'm pretty... Yeah.
Oh man.
Did you lie to me?
By the
I'm
way,
not.
Drake Bell, what a fall, right?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a pretty big fall.
You don't know.
That-
You don't know when he fell, do you?
What?
So did you know? That
No, I
Drake
think I
Bell
mentioned it.
You
him.
mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah, we
I also
mentioned it.
never fully watched Drake
Now he's
and Josh
definitely
when it
not
was
gonna-
a thing.
No, he's definitely not. Wait, hold on. You never watched Drake and Josh?
I've seen an episode or two, but you know.
Did you see the special TV movie where they went to California?
Yes, I did. see that.
No.
Remember when they
Oh wait, I like how you haven't watched iCarly or Drake and Josh, but you're telling us
Look,
that there's a
dude.
crossover episode
Yeah,
that we don't know about.
to be fair, the
Who
only
was
reason
it
I
that-
know that is because the Instagram was some meme.
who was it that they
Oh.
stole that because they, like Drake like low key schemed his way to get to like stealing some celebrities like Ferrari. Was that Tony Hawk's?
I think it was Tony.
Was it Tony Hawk? It
Or
had
some
to be-
kind of skater, I think.
It had to be someone who like was just. Even though I had no interest in skateboarding as a kid, like Tony Hawk was like the coolest human. That
Honestly,
I
the
could
only
be.
reason I knew about Tony Hawk is because of the video games.
But like that's the meme, right? At this point, just Tony Hawk tweeting about how people think he looks like Tony Hawk, but don't realize he's actually.
Yeah, I
Tony
love
Hawk.
that. They're like, well, you look like Tony Hawk and you do a kickflip.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw. He'd been posting a bunch of videos. It was him because he's basically retired now.
Yeah.
But it was a series of videos of him doing like all of his like all the coolest tricks like for the last time. There was one I saw. He did this awesome trick, and then he like at the end of it he was like yes, and he was screaming, and he was like fuck yes, and he threw his helmet down, and like his friends around him, but he was like crying because he was like it's like the last time that's like the last time I'm gonna be able to do
That's
something
so
like that.
sad.
How
And it
old
was-
is he? Like,
He's like I think he's in his like 50s,
Okay,
like
that's what
late
I
50s,
thought,
and
yeah.
it's just so sad, but like it really says something about like the cultural impact that man had. That like me of all people, someone who really I have no interest in the skating scene whatsoever. Like, but even as a kid, I was like, oh yeah, Tony Hawk. He's like the coolest
cool.
guy that you could be.
Yeah, I remember it was only because of Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and I was like, fuck yeah, Tony Hawk's cool.
I'm kind of curious about playing because they made the
Remake,
remasters of Pro Skater 1 and 2.
I'm pretty sure they're on PC, if not on a console as well.
It's probably on PlayStation.
Yeah.
I'll look into it. But speaking of video
It's also on the
games,
Switch.
speaking of video games,
Speaking of E3
segue.
announcements, that was an E3 announcement that it's going to be on the Switch.
oh yeah, that's coming to Switch. That's awesome.
that's also an E3 announcement, which I'm mad at. Was that Kingdom Come Deliverance, instead of they're announcing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, they just announced it's going to be on the Switch, which is dumb, and they should release us 2.
Now you can listen to I'm feeling a bit hungry.
They're gonna
everywhere.
They're gonna have even
Yeah.
fewer people of color. It's gonna be great. They're
Oh.
actually gonna make the white people whiter.
Jesus Christ! Wait, was that an issue with Kingdom Come?
That was so big.
Wait, hold on.
There was
hold on.
so there was a controversy with Kingdom Come Deliverance because there was like contradicting reports. Like for some people who were historians who worked on the game said that there weren't many groups
I
or
was about
tribes
to say,
that had
it's
people.
1400s
of color.
Bohemia. There's
Exactly.
like,
But then there was other. But then it's like there were other historians who said like no, there were like groups of people of color. It wasn't necessarily a huge issue with the game. It's one of those things though where it's like the guy who was like one of the creative leads on the game, kind of like as people investigated him, trying to like, you're kind of like gross.
so it's more of an issue with the guy.
It was more
rather
just an
than
issue with the guy.
game.
So it's like really
I think it was more of an issue with technically in history there were some small groups. So like
Yeah.
there's a way you could have added them in.
but
the fact that the creator is also kind of a shitty person anyways,
kind
that kind of just made it worse.
kinda
that he
made-
didn't
kinda made
add
it worse.
anything in.
because
Yeah.
realistically, if the story they're telling doesn't touch on a certain element, then adding that element of the
Right.
history when it's not necessary is fine. I didn't have an issue with it. I didn't play the game
I mean,
because
the
it didn't look
humans
fun
are in
to
it,
me.
and they're like a step group, which is
You didn't look fun. You didn't want to hear.
it's a fun game.
It
But
was-
stealth system.
It was
in my
fun
opinion.
watching you guys play it, I'll admit.
I played it like 2 times.
Yeah, but I just kind of James Willems said it best because there was a huge discussion that Funhouse had about it on their podcast, and I remember he said it best, and this is my treatment towards a lot of these types of controversies. Let's say you're having like a dinner party with a bunch of friends, but somebody shows up wearing like a leather suit, and they have a ball gag in their mouth and their cock hanging out. It's like you're probably not going to want to talk to that guy, and maybe they'll be like, "Bro, we've got a great personality." It's like maybe, but I don't want to talk to you because you've got a ball gag in your mouth and your cock hanging out. And that's basically my attitude towards certain developers and people creatively who it's like, listen, maybe the grounds for a controversy weren't entirely well founded, but you kind of seem like a piece of shit. Kind of same thing happened with the guy from Quantic Dream, David Cage. I told you guys about this recently.
Yeah.
The guy, David Cage, the guy who made Detroit Become Human and Heavy Rain.
I don't think you told me about that.
Well, he basically there was a huge lawsuit because there was articles. His studio had sued a bunch of publications in France that were reporting about just allegations of just a very toxic workplace environment and things that David Cage had said. Like I think he said something like, "In all my games, women are whores, and like we don't make games for fags." He just said a bunch of like really just terrible shit, and it was hilarious. People were talking about how like they were reading like explanations of what happened during the court case, and at one point David Cage, this just French, just fucking pretentious fuck of a game developer, was just like in tears and like ran out of the courtroom. It's like, you're interfering with my business, and just like it was amazing. And also there was one guy, I think one of the heads of the studio, literally being questioned in court. I think he said like, I didn't take the oath. I didn't take an oath, so I can lie, right? He said this.
No fucking
He literally
way.
said this. It sounds like a total shit show. I think there's another example of
What
it.
kind of fucking question is that?
Right.
That just makes everything you say completely able to be written off.
Absolutely. But also, this happened also again recently. The guy who, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, he recently came under a lot of fire.
Did he? Is that why he's trying to retire?
Yeah.
He retired. There was a hashtag that was like, I stand by Scott or some shit, because people were like defending him. Basically, he got like doxxed, which is not something that I wish on anybody.
The fuck's doxxed?
To get doxxed is like you get like your address or like the place where you live like revealed. And that can be dangerous. And you know, he has like a wife and like a pregnant wife and all that stuff. So like getting doxxed, that's a shitty thing. It shouldn't have happened. But again, he kind of like turned out to be like a homophobic piece of shit. And so the funny thing was there was a new hashtag that was like, "Thank you, Scott." But it was just kind of like people saying hashtag "Thank you, Scott," and be like, "Haha, JK, fuck you, you asshole."
Oh my god.
So yeah, a lot of game developers are real assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like wasn't there something with Ubisoft's head of
No, it's like
whatever,
their
yeah.
something about like
workplace
harassment.
sexual harassment or
Yeah.
some
Workplace
shit.
harassment, and they haven't done much within the last year to rectify a lot of that. There hasn't been a lot of
Yeah, I've been hearing
action
about
and
this.
progress being made. Man, we're getting off to a
We're
grim
turning
start
into
with the
fucking
E3
drama
topic.
alert right
Well,
now.
maybe we
right?
should start with Ubisoft. I feel like those Ubisoft forwards are like the worst press conferences ever.
The only thing I actually have seen is Far Cry 6.
Far Cry 6
and I
looking
think
pretty good.
Probably because it's the only thing worth
Yeah,
mentioning.
but I don't
pretty
think that was even featured at their Ubisoft thing. They
It was
mostly
Xbox,
it was
technically.
Xbox, yeah. Xbox.
That and
Not bad.
what was it, the what's his name, Geoff Knightley or something like
Oh,
that?
Jeff Keighley. Oh yeah, Summer Games Fest. Jeff.
I like how I said Geoff Knightley. You're like, yeah, Jeff Keighley.
He's like the biggest Jeff in gaming that I can think of at the
I
moment.
don't know.
Not Jeffy B.
I always pronounce it Geoff because
Oh,
There's a
Bezos.
GEO, yeah.
I always say Geoff because it's Geoff, and it's like, listen, if you wanted to pronounce Jeff, put a fucking J.
Geoff.
Okay, if you put
No.
Geo, Geoff to me.
I prefer the Jeff with a G. I
hate
think
that.
it's cooler.
I think it's Geoff. That's like saying GIF is GIF.
Yeah, but then you could also... Never mind.
You also what?
You could also potentially argue that...
Yeah, your argument's
Fuck.
gone.
You
Your
could
argument's
also,
invalid.
well, by that logic, you could try to argue like Jaramillo is pronounced Jaramillo.
Yes, yeah, because Geoff is more of a.
It's a
Jeff.
it's a
Look,
cultural thing.
Look, we talked about this
fine.
before.
But I'd
English
be
is
fine
weird.
with Carmelo too.
Look, we've discussed this before.
Look, I was
English
trying
is
to come up with
weird.
the last name that didn't involve that, but that's the only example I can think of.
I feel like
so.
that'd be fine. See, but at least that's somewhat more normal. At least, I guess, more for English language, because like Jaramillo, but you could be Jaramillo,
Or it would be Jaramillo by
but then
that
it would be
logic.
Geoff, I guess.
But yeah, I've been really
Speaking of E3,
been really
Speaking
unimpressed
of
with
E's and
Ubisoft's
G's,
presence. Because they ever since last year they've done Ubisoft Forward, which is like basically their it's like their equivalent of a Nintendo Direct or a PlayStation State of Play, but
they're more like Ubisoft backwards because they're
Yeah.
terrible.
because they're not
wow,
that
it's good.
because they're not
Good
that
one.
great. It's like because if you think about it, Nintendo they have probably a lot more stuff to announce a lot more often. Same
Well,
with
that's because
PlayStation.
It's same with PlayStation, Xbox, is because they have so many game studios underneath. Whereas
Yeah.
Ubisoft is
Is just one studio.
Ubisoft. Yeah.
I mean, it was always kind of strange that they had their own press conference at all, but like now it feels like even more than ever they don't have much to really announce because it feels like they've kind of moved more into other avenues of getting money and revenue. So it's like we're not getting the annual hype of like Assassin's Creed
Because
or
EA didn't even have their own, did they?
I don't think they did. No.
They didn't really announce anything.
No,
really
yeah.
either.
The only thing
I
they
think-
announced is Battlefield.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we know this because I didn't have to walk away from my TV for like an hour during the typical Madden segments. So yeah, they didn't do anything like that.
yeah.
They
true.
even do Madden?
They didn't even
Well,
do
I think
Madden.
they announced
Sports?
it just like afterwards, honestly.
No,
'Cause
probably
Sports
did.
I remember
ball?
seeing Madden 22.
Yeah, because that's
as,
always
like,
during
articles.
EA. I mean,
Probably because the source code for FIFA got fucking leaked, so they probably don't want to do it.
True.
but
The funniest. I'm sorry. Wait, give me a
Yeah,
second.
it's
The
fine.
funniest memes I've been seeing recently are the ones, or like at least gaming memes, are the ones about EA getting hacked and the source code for FIFA getting leaked. It's like, oh yeah, that 20-year-old source code for the game they just copy and pasted.
Fucking got them.
Yeah, I just love those.
but yeah, no new Splinter Cell. People, my friends were really upset about no new Splinter Cell announcement
Yeah, that sucks. Honestly.
because I think that some of the stuff that Ubisoft has been doing, like the stuff that they've stuck with, like I'm still like Siege to me feels like their biggest success in years.
Yeah, but even then, Siege started out rocky.
Yeah, I was
It
saying,
did.
even then,
Yeah.
it was one of their worst.
But they
one
stuck
of the
with.
worst things.
But they stuck with it, and in a world where a
Same with For
lot
Honor.
of studios
Is
will
For
like
Honor
abandon.
doing well? I thought they kind of petered
I
out.
actually heard. Well, I heard it was doing a lot better than it did when it first came out.
Right.
And I want to say it might still be doing good. I don't know. I'm
Well,
not
'cause,
playing
like,
it.
I
so-
I
know
remember
it-
there was some hype for the Chinese expansion when they
Yeah.
had the Chinese
Yeah.
Warriors, but I don't remember that ever. I
Well,
think it came
No, I
out.
heard that it came out and like it
Yeah.
I remember a lot of people like going back.
Okay.
And, like,
Well,
saying it was really good.
they kind of ignored For Honor, but then once it was free on live for a bit, they kind of like went full in on it because they're like, oh, a bunch of people are gonna get this
Yeah.
game for free, and then
I don't know. I'd have to
revamp
look it up to see if it actually is still popular. But I remember like a lot of people are still talking about For Honor from what I've seen.
They did announce, I will give Ubisoft credit, they did announce cross-play and cross-progression for Siege. But here's the problem. Now, there won't be cross-play between PC and console.
Why?
Probably because the PC community for Siege is probably pretty cutthroat compared to a console community
I
for
don't know.
Siege.
Console can be
two
pretty
things for that.
cutthroat.
Either,
And also control input.
I would say either control input where it's PC is just it's more accurate, or they may not want to. They may be an all or nothing where they say, "Hey, both of you guys have to do crossplay," or no. So if Sony said no, then they might have been like, "No."
But I think consoles will have crossplay, but it's just a matter of the PC. And then there's some other
so
like
Sony and Xbox are gonna have it.
I think so. I think across the consoles.
Oh, then I'm cool with that. Then it's probably just the input thing. Then.
But I really do hope that they have cross progression across all.
I would hope so.
I would hope so because that's my biggest
you already
thing.
have a Ubisoft account.
That's my biggest
Right.
thing. Like I can. Like,
Speaking of which, you shouldn't have to have a company account for games. EA,
You shouldn't have what you said?
a company account to play your multiplayer games.
Right.
EA, yeah, because now you can't play. I don't think you can play
Which I
Battlefield.
try to
bro.
go through your customer support again.
Good fucking luck with
Didn't
Battlefield,
do
dog.
it.
because I'm pretty sure that if I downloaded Fortnite on PC, I'd have all the stuff I have from my.
Epic has cross progression.
They have the cross progression. Same with Modern Warfare, which is why I love the newer Call of Duties because I was able to. I had all the same progress from when I played the PlayStation beta as when I went over and did the Xbox beta before it came out. I was like, this is amazing.
Because I have Warzone down on my computer, and I literally like loaded it up. I was like, oh, I still have everything.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I really hope that they continue that. If it's not going to be crossplay, that's fine. But I would love to just be able to get Siege through Game Pass, and then just be able to play with you guys.
I feel
with
like
all
they
my
just
stuff.
need to put on Game Pass at this point.
But here's what I feel like it's going to happen. I feel like by the time that they activate that, they might take Siege off of Game Pass, maybe because they take certain games off Game Pass.
Well, Siege isn't on Game Pass, is it?
It is.
Oh, it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, Siege is on Game Pass, but I don't know how much of it because because there's different versions of it. Like there's the starter version, which is a terrible deal because you only get like 2 operators to pick.
It's probably that because it's free. So
Exactly. Probably.
Not exactly free, but
most likely. Or because it's been like fucking 6 years, I would hope they at least give you all of the original operators.
Honestly, I would assume they would do that.
They're usually pretty smart. And also, I can I just say, I love the community team for like the community development team for Siege. Like the
It's
people.
been 6 years for Siege.
Yeah, they're on like
Siege's
year
been out
6.
for a long
Because it came out like 2015.
Shit.
It's because the first like year or two was trash. That's why it doesn't seem that long.
I got in around the end of year 2, I think, and then I got year 3. And
I think I got in end of year 2 as well.
But I think I stopped after year 4 because I was running out of operators that I was like really interested enough that I wanted to buy the yearly pass.
I think people that I played with just stopped playing, so I was like, "Yep, okay, I'm not gonna play."
Justin was super hyped when it was coming out, so we all got it.
Yeah, he
played
was
it like
like
twice,
really
and then dropped off, and then like 2 years later we got into it again, and then again dropped
Only
off.
problem I have with Siege now is that now they've only just recently added a battle pass system, and I think this is the one game that doesn't need it because the system they already had, I think, was already pretty good.
Yeah.
Because now
it's more of they want. It's either one of these two. It's either, hey, we're going to put a battle pass system if you want us to keep supporting this game,
right?
Or B, we're greedy, we want more money.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's probably B because I feel like a lot of people probably already just straight up buy the operators. So
it's
I
true.
don't know.
It's true.
Who knows?
But I wish there was another Splinter Cell game announced because I think that the thing with Siege is that I love Siege, but I also see that it is a sign that they clearly stuck with it, which is cool. I like that they stuck with it and fixed it and turned it into the game that it is. But it's also a sign that they clearly looked at the success of it and the failure of stuff like Ghost Recon Breakpoint and said, we should probably stop doing like the Tom Clancy stealth action games.
I feel like they should, because I feel like if they made it, if they basically just took Siege and made it more stealthy and just said it was like a Splinter Cell multiplayer game, I feel like it'd be kind of cool.
It could be cool. I mean, they already had multiplayer in Splinter Cell. They had the Spies versus Merc stuff, which they've had that ever since.
Well, I like the co-op missions actually.
Yeah, they've had multiplayer in some form in Splinter Cell ever since Pandora Tomorrow way back when. But
they should bring that back. They should
bring that back. I've actually recently, I think that if you like stealth games and you want to play one of the best stealth games ever made, buy Splinter Cell Chaos Theory on Steam. It's amazing. It like something about it. Like I can't even like really describe the atmosphere. The music is done by a composer named Amon Tobin. And the soundtrack he did for that game is so fucking aesthetic, dude. Like it is some of the most chill music, but it also evolves depending on the threat level. Like it gets more intense if there's like guards looking for you, but also like it gets like really just frantic and chaotic once you go on high alert. But the writing is also really good and occasionally funny as well. But just like the way that Sam Fisher moves through the dark. And also the way that you control his movement. Because, like, on, like, a console, like, analog movement, you'd just, like, the degree to which you press on the analog stick determines how quickly you move. But on a PC, if you're just doing, like, a button press, it's hard to get a precise control over how fast you're moving. Unless you do, like, a caps lock feature. Nobody should use caps lock as a button prompt for any game. But something that I think they did that was genius was attaching the speed of your movement to the scroll wheel. So you use the scroll wheel to go to like a really slow, like getting so up and close and personal that you're like inches away from a person, and then you can like there's like one input to do a non-lethal takedown, another input to do a lethal takedown with a knife. Because this was the first Splinter Cell game that was rated M for mature, so they went a bit more hardcore with it, but not like too gratuitous. And what I loved is that if you held down the button after the takedown, you would automatically take their body and like pick it up so you could move it.
Right.
It was some of the best stealth mechanics ever, and it's actually aged really well.
I feel like Ubisoft makes some of the best stealth games. Mm-hmm. At least what used to be some of the best stealth games. And it's like they just never evolve their formula into the modern times.
Well, also it's funny because they used to make such great games. And
in general.
In general. And it's also weird, though, because it took them until they started making worse games for them to add a crouch button to Assassin's Creed.
Oh my god, that should not have taken them that long.
And I think it's because the power fantasy, like, you know, when you are sneaking through, you're sneaking through crowds.
In Black Flag?
Unity was kind of if you went into a bush.
It was all context based. It was hiding through bushes
I've tried to go back and play the ones that don't have a crouch. I'm like, how did I ever play this without a crouch?
I think it was all because they in their minds, I imagine the thought was like, well, let's see, what are you mostly doing when you're doing stealth in Assassin's Creed games? You're usually you're on rooftops. You're either on rooftops or you're hiding through crowds or using context-based disguise locations like benches.
Yeah, well, that's part of the thing too. Was that I feel like that's why they got rid of social stealth, was because you could just bypass all that by going on rooftops.
Probably.
Which is what I did in Valhalla, even though they tried to bring it back.
Assassin's Creed 1 had, I think, the best context to use that.
I feel like we've gone on so many Assassin's Creed tangents. We got just.
But I do want to say though, do you remember there was the one mission in Assassin's Creed 1 where you had to kill that guy who was like in like a hospital?
The one where you had to kill the guy. No, I was kidding.
That's a good mission.
Well, that was always difficult because like you couldn't really access it through the roof easily.
There was also no air assassinations in one.
Was there not?
You could kind of do it if you're like hanging off a ledge, but
but you couldn't like you couldn't do it as high. There was the animation of him kind of like doing a leap.
Just fucking remake.
That's what I'm saying. Like that'd be
because also that was a game that it was like it's one of those games where the only possible negative, the only possible huge detriment to the game is that it's just very repetitive.
Yeah.
And the PC version fixed that by adding a lot of side quests.
You know what's funny is that apparently the reason it was repetitive is because one of the developers, like a month before it released, had his son play it, and his son was like, there's nothing to do, so they just put in random shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, it was interesting though. There was like what I love about that game is that I don't know. There's something so classic about the storytelling of some of the Assassin's Creed games. Like even Odyssey to some extent, you could really tell that they were framing it in terms of this very long, like something like this very long epic in the style of something like Homer's Odyssey. The first Assassin's Creed though, it was very much like every single kill was treated as a lesson to a very flawed protagonist.
Well, that's
With
what
a
I
lot to
feel
learn.
like is missing out on the newer games, because the newer games are just like, go to this location, kill this person. You don't get the black box like thing anymore. Like, there's no story. Like, sure, they gave you like a paragraph blob, but I'm like, I'm not gonna rate that shit.
And when they do,
like
and
when
when
you kill one of the Templars on like the list,
yeah,
they like have like a tiny cutscene that like doesn't even like, you had to read the paragraph that they had, otherwise you wouldn't understand what they're talking about. And they have like a 2-sentence interaction. That's it.
so
Whereas like the old games used to have like insights of like
And you had
like
to, like,
big
stalk your-
revelation
yeah,
fucking shit.
You also had to like stalk your target and learn like information and shit.
yeah,
And
and
do it.
Assassin's Creed, I think honestly the biggest failings of this franchise now is all in response to criticisms from people who weren't actual fans of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Because think about it, everybody was like, everybody I talk to who likes the older games thinks that Desmond is either a really good character or at least they are just indifferent and like, yeah, he was fine. But there's this vocal minority that was very like, oh, Desmond sucks, Desmond's terrible.
I think that's like in a majority of things. It's always the vocal minority that gets,
Yeah, that always
for like
comes
media
out.
at least.
And then you have the people who are just the bandwagon, so like they hear the vocal minority and they're like, yeah, fuck him.
And then like, but you were mentioning, Michael, about the stuff like when you kill a target and you get to talk with them. Those were some of the most interesting scenes in the first
Yeah, you take the
Assassin's
fucking
Creed.
feather and like put the blood
feather,
on it and
yeah,
shit.
the blood and everything.
That was like one of the
This is
coolest
why you
fucking
should play
things.
Origins. You
And
can do that.
and you're talking to, and you get to talk to the
Fuck
people. You get to find, you get to figure out why it is that they did what they did, and that was always really interesting. But like but because of people like Video Game Donkey who just talk about why am I sitting here listening to all these people talk? It's like, well, maybe the fucking
Look,
story.
Donkey, I don't take seriously.
No,
he
I
just
don't.
memes
He just
around.
fucking memes.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I feel like he just takes the vocal minority shit and just makes a meme out of it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of what it is.
Yeah.
I like Donkey. I can't
Donkey's
lie.
fine. He can be very funny, and it's kind of one of those things. I will say Donkey was very accurate when he talked about critics and how like there can be critics that you disagree with all the time. So when they say something you agree with, there's almost some value to that, because it's like, oh man, well, even he is someone that like, you know, you're finding common ground with. That's kind of like which is very accurate to my experience with Donkey, because I disagree with Donkey on quite a bit of a lot of things.
I think one of my favorite videos of his is him explaining the Metal Gear Solid story.
And
yeah.
because it was actually really accurate.
I know. And
It was
that's why
actually
made me laugh.
it was incredibly
because everybody's
accurate.
like, actually, this is actually pretty accurate, and it made me laugh more because like, oh shit, like if you explain it like that, it just sounds like a meme.
Yeah, it was actually very accurate, and it didn't take the piss too much out of the series. But like also like when he reviewed Last of Us Part 2, I was like, yeah, he gets it. I was like, Jesus,
he's there. He's
holy
got
shit.
it.
I didn't think that that was the biggest like shook moment for me. Like when I was reviewing it on the radio show, and then Chris mentioned like Donkey's review, and I was like, oh.
Oh, well, I agree with him this time.
But yeah, Ubisoft's presence at
Back to
E3.
E3.
Ubisoft's presence at E3 I wasn't that impressed with.
I mean, honestly, like, I think the only one I actually watched most of is the Xbox one. I can't lie.
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of stuff about the Switch one, which was stuff I was expecting
It's just
anyways.
Breath of the Wild and indie games.
And
Really.
Breath of the Wild, indie games,
There's the
other
new-
games that have already been out that are now coming to the Switch,
Yeah.
and then
Smash.
And
And also in,
I don't like that character coming to Smash.
Yeah, whatever.
that's fine. It's fine.
It's like whatever, but it's like I feel like I want them just to do some crazy character you wouldn't
They
expect.
did with Steve
I
from
expected that to
Minecraft.
come eventually.
Yeah, that's still pretty fucking
That's
crazy.
true. It's true. The Pyro reveal I thought was very clever, because it was especially
Everybody thought it was gonna be Rex.
everybody- I thought I was going to be in Smash.
That was actually a pretty good Rex impression.
Was it? Thank you. I think for me personally, I feel like Nintendo kind of won, because everyone always was like, "Oh, who won?" It probably was Nintendo for me, because I don't own Nintendo consoles. I don't like get super hyped about these reveals, and I do kind of wish that Bayonetta 3 was there. But every time I watch these press conferences, I always can get, even when it's not something I'm personally excited about, I can get a vibe for how excited people must be about a certain thing. I didn't really get that in any of the conferences except for Nintendo, because they were like, new Metroid. I was like, bitching. And
Even from the Halo multiplayer reveal.
because I don't really play.
I know what I'm saying. If you're getting the vibe,
but then we get the vibe. That I did. That was like. But even then, I was contentious because it's like every time I listen to even Halo fans talk about Halo nowadays, it's always like, man, Halo kind of went to shit. And
it
like,
did, but that trailer has restored a lot.
And
of
admittedly,
people's faith.
every story trailer that they've revealed for Infinite has always gone maybe like, yeah, this story does look like it's well directed.
I hope so, at least.
We hope so. But for me, like Nintendo, just like everything, the Breath of the Wild trailer was cool. There was the Metroid. The Metroid one looks so cool because I like the idea that they're adding an enemy that like Samus just flat out cannot fight. Like this enemy is so advanced you have to hide from them. Like you're
You talking about
badass.
the robot thing?
The robot thing.
I'm like 90% sure you that's the first boss you beat.
Really?
Because I just remember watching gameplay, and they were like, it was after we beat the first boss, which was the boss you saw in the trailer. That's why I swear that's what they said. So I'm pretty sure.
I hope that I hope it's
It's
not.
enemy
I hope it's more.
immediately
But I hope
destroyed.
it's an enemy that can evolve over time. Like
I'm sure.
I hope that they treat it kind of like a nemesis type
I was
thing.
about to
and
say,
like,
bring the Nemesis system back.
Something has to bring the fucking nemesis.
well,
system
not
back.
that nemesis.
Oh.
Nemesis from Resident Evil.
Oh,
Nemesis,
but
like
still.
an enemy that follows you throughout the entire game
Well,
until
still,
you're
like,
strong enough
I was
to
with
defeat
you
it.
there. They need to bring back the nemesis.
They do need
system.
to bring that back.
Before we go on, should we take a little ad break?
Oh, what are we at?
Yes, we should take a little break. I wanted to say that at an audible level since you kind of like.
We took a little break.
I would give Ubisoft's press conference like a D.
Let's go.
Let's go, Apple.
That's for Alex. Alex will understand that.
I'd probably give, upon further consideration, I'd probably give Bethesda, the Xbox Bethesda, or Eggs Bethesda, as I call it.
Yeah.
Probably give that like more of a B, because then I thought about it more, and I was like, well, there was Stalker 2, and that looks neat. And there was also a game, do you guys remember the game called,
What are you talking about?
it was like a side-scroller, kind of pixel art game. But
Replacer?
Replacer,
Oh,
something
I'd
like
have
that.
to look that.
That game
looks
looks
so good.
So I remember there was on our topic of shitty developers, there was a game called the Last Night or something like that.
Yeah, that was supposed to kind of like
It had a very similar looking style,
Yeah.
but it got canceled, and apparently like the developer said some like really shitty things about like, I don't know. He said some like scummy things that kind of made him look like misogynist.
Yeah, I was gonna say insert shitty developer comment here.
Insert shitty developer comment. I wouldn't be surprised if the resources from that game end up getting shifted to this new
That's
game.
what I
Wait,
assumed.
what was it called again?
Replaced, I think.
Replaced.
Oh, Replaced.
Yeah,
Looks
check out
good.
the. We'll
Yeah,
watch.
I said replacer, but I'm pretty sure it's
We'll
replaced.
watch the trailer afterward. I think
looks
you'll actually
good.
really like it.
Let him watch it now while we're talking.
Yeah,
Catch
on
him
silent.
I actually like. I will say I'm actually. I mean, again, for me personally, because you guys were never into Halo.
Mhm.
For me, I would put the Xbox One at an A only because everything about Halo Infinite looks so much better than what they showed last year before that, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And just the fact that the multiplayer is free,
See,
I think is
that's
awesome.
pretty
That's I wasn't sold on Halo because I've never been a huge Halo fan. But when Michael told me it was free, I was like,
Okay, we should
"Oh."
watch because we were talking earlier during the break that we're going to watch Scarlet Nexus. We should
Mhm.
also watch the trailer for Replaced
Okay.
and the multiplayer beta. Or
I
the
think we just
multiplayer-
skipped the Scarlet Nexus episode.
Oh, I don't know.
I skimmed through some of it, and I mean it looks okay, but
I mean, look. All right.
We'll look up the review and see if it's
Yeah.
worth it. If not, then we'll just watch a bunch of game trailers that you probably didn't watch.
Yeah.
I'd give Ubisoft a D. I'd give X Bethesda a B. Square Enix, I'd give an F. And
Square
here's
Enix was awful. Okay, so I mean, I didn't really look into
literally
it.
nothing.
It's all it was fucking Avengers, wasn't
well,
it? Basically?
no. So here's the thing. It actually started off promising.
Didn't have
With
Matt
Guardians of the
Mercer
Galaxy.
as the announcer or something.
He was the announcer. Yes, it started promising because
he had to be associated with that.
yeah. Here's the thing. It started off promising because they announced from Eidos Montreal a Guardians of the Galaxy game, and it looks cool.
It actually looks pretty interesting. However, it looks cool, but I also thought eventually the Avengers game kind of looked cool, so I'm scared that
But
it might be
different
terrible.
studios, different teams.
Oh,
Because
Never mind. No, I'm excited.
because it was It was Crystal Dynamics who made the Avengers game, and they showed more of the Avengers game, but they were showing the Black
Tomb Raider, and Tomb Raider's good.
And
Yeah, but they didn't try to make an online.
Yeah, they didn't try to make
game.
what Avengers was.
That's true.
And but they showed off the Black Panther expansion for Avengers, which actually looks way cooler than the base game already. Here's the problem.
Terrible game.
That Square Enix conference, because it was, I don't know if it was a decision by the official Twitch channel that was streaming E3, or if it was a decision, or if it was just all the streams of Square Enix's conference, all licensed music was either replaced or just muted. It was
Probably
like watching it was like watching a sitcom because of DMCA. It was like watching one of those videos where it's a comedy without the laugh track. It was so awkward and bizarre.
Sounds awful.
Yeah, it was terrible. And then they I think they ended it with a trailer for Final Fantasy Origins, which is an action game made by Team Ninja.
Chaos.
Yeah, the trailer was terrible.
I want to kill chaos.
I want to kill chaos.
We're looking for chaos.
I'm here to kill chaos.
Hey, did you know the game is about
Killing chaos.
And then fucking the boy Chris Sabat playing chaos.
Playing chaos.
He's like, I am chaos.
And people, but
we'll watch the trailer if you want to, but it's literally just. That's literally all that's like the main word of the whole fucking
It does have some of the people who worked on Devil May Cry working on it. That's the thing. Everybody who played the demo on PS5 said that, man, that trailer was awful because this is actually a pretty solid game. And so it's sad that it had such a shitty trailer, but also parts of the game just inherently look kind of shitty. Like the performances, the script writing, and just the way cutscenes are directed.
Except for Chris Sabat, he's always perfect.
He's all right. I'm getting kind of tired of him.
I feel like I don't watch enough anime now that I can't get tired of him. So, but before we continue, I forgot. I also really like the Xbox conference because of the Pirates of the Caribbean Sea of Thieves.
I was just about to mention that.
Honestly, kind of excited.
I'm very excited.
I'm actually really excited.
But
First off, it's free June 22nd. So actually in fucking 4 days.
Shit, that's soon.
Yeah, and it's free, and it's fucking dude. It looks so good.
And
did you see the whole trailer for it?
I did, and the fact that you can get Jack Sparrow's coat.
I hope you can get his compass, even though it wouldn't matter. But like, what if you could get the compass
and it only points you towards loot?
I was gonna say, like if you have a selected mission, it'll point you towards that mission.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be really fucking cool. Holy shit! I'm really excited.
Imagine if you could all get go from back and forth on the boat and turn the boat over and then go into like the.
I think you can because it does in the trailer. It showed like the whole light thing that like happens because your whole thing is Davy Jones comes back. That's the whole thing. Yeah. And bro, they have like mermaids and shit in it now, like the thing that we wanted before, and you could actually see the Kraken's face now.
And they've got multiple characters. It's not just Jack Sparrow. They've got multiple characters from the movies.
Yeah, they have Davy Jones, Jack Sparrow. They have
the captain guy.
Gibbs.
Yeah,
Gibbs. They have Gibbs.
You know what?
I think they have the Jamaican lady.
Calypso. Yeah.
Calypso. I think they have her because I heard her voice in it. So
I'm so excited.
I'm assuming they're gonna have Will. I would assume they have
women
Will.
of color.
Oh
I'm in.
God, Jesus. We never got to the Golden Island,
Golden Shores.
Golden Shores. I know, it makes me sad.
Well, you know what? I'm really excited for? The one thing that I said I really hope they have, the Black Pearl liveries, and they do. So I'm going to fucking go with Black Pearl because that is one of my favorite pirate ships in all of media ever.
You know what really actually just kind of turned me off?
What?
Of Sea of Thieves was mainly just the people who went on to bully people.
Yeah, did Frank and I ever tell you about the people who we were playing the first Megalodon update? I think we weren't playing for like a long time. They came on, did like a Megalodon update. We did like it was fucking. That was honestly, I think I can say for certain, the Sea of Thieves is the game that had my best multiplayer experience in.
Oh yeah, I've met plenty of really fun, friendly people.
We literally got 20 players together on the same galleon because all their ships got destroyed by the Megalodon, and 20 people are on our galleon and we're fucking trying to kill a Megalodon.
Did you do it?
Yeah, we did it, and it was fucking like it was fucking amazing.
That's like the joy that people had like doing like raids and like WoW.
Yeah, honestly, I felt like I was like I feel like this is what it is like in an MMO.
It is. It's very close to that.
But yeah. Anyways, after that, we were still playing with the same guys for a little bit, And we like found these. I don't know if they were hackers or if they were just like fucking crossplay PC guys that were just like insanely good and just lived in their mother's basement or some shit. But they were literally like they like killed us and they're like, oh my god, get off our game, go back to Fortnite.
Oh
and I was like, wow, you're the worst people.
You know, I was playing it once and I was getting bullied, and one of them didn't have a mic, and they were just like, oh, they're so sad. And I literally snuck onto their boat once. They had like 300 planks. I'm like, okay, you
like,
took that much time to gather that much shit.
Either they killed so many people, then they took the time to get all of their planks from their ships to their ship, or they literally were playing for so long they found that many planks.
It's sad that I'm being bullied with a 3v1 right now.
I'm sorry, I'm still stuck at 300 planks. Don't you start with like 20?
Yeah.
How the fuck do you have enough time to get 280 planks unless you're literally like no-lifing this one section?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, that's fucking insane.
And it's stupid because half the time whenever you bully somebody, they have maybe a chest that's worth like, what, 500 gold, which is like nothing.
I think the point is they just want to bully people.
Yeah, basically.
See, like instead of actually just that's their loot. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like I get it. It's a pirate game.
Right.
But like I feel like I get it if it's more of like 3v3, but like the 3v1 and you're just like literally just staying there and bullying the person, it's like it's literally one person.
Yeah.
Like just fucking move on, bro.
Like, yeah, it's a pirate game, but at the same time, I would argue in the time that the chase takes you could have gone off and gotten the same amount of loot.
You could have gotten way more loot.
Yeah.
Because when you have 3 people, I'm pretty sure it gives you better shit. It gives you better treasure.
Well,
stuff,
it's also
so, like,
that
you get more money.
Plus, I will give the developers this. The sloop technically is the fastest ship, so if you know what you're doing,
you
can outrun
them and outmaneuver them. Yeah. Damn, man, Sea of Thieves is really actually.
It is a really good game. I just wish I had more people.
Especially after all the updates. I'm like, there's actually a lot of tall tales besides Shores of Gold. I'm pretty sure that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they added a lot more afterwards because we only played it when they added those like 6.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure people were like, oh yeah, they added more after that. So.
Only reason I stopped was because you kind of stopped. And I'm like,
I only stopped because I thought you stopped.
Well, fuck, dude. Matt's
Shit,
got
I haven't
Game
downloaded
Pass
on my
now.
PC.
I got Game Pass now.
Fuck.
Play that. I also I still have never played Minecraft.
Shit, that's not on Game Pass though. Even though I insisted it was.
Weirdly, it's not.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, never mind. I guess I'm never gonna play.
I mean, honestly, you could probably buy it for like $20, but
it's too much.
It's too much.
I'm surprised you don't have it because I don't think Alex has it.
No, because Alex hates Minecraft.
Yeah, Alex hates Minecraft.
Chivalry though.
Chivalry is pretty fun.
Chivalry is fun. Hey, that's not E3.
We should do a review for that next week though.
We should. We have a great bit. We can do.
So, do we have anything else to talk about with E3? Because I just realized
Elden Ring. I know you're excited about that.
I was gonna say the 3. I wanted us to say the 3 things we're most excited about from E3.
I'm trying to remember everything actually because I wasn't watching a lot of stuff. I mean, I personally, Halo is actually one thing. I never thought I'd ever say it ever again. Halo is actually something I'm really excited for. Battlefield. We didn't talk about that. Battlefield, I'm really excited.
The only reason I didn't bring that up is because I don't want to support it because $70 for just the multiplayer. Oh yeah,
that's bullshit.
Wait, whoa.
Yeah, you didn't
it's $70 for just the multiplayer.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to play the campaign.
I mean, here's the thing.
$70 for just the multiplayer.
Exactly, because I would because I really want. Like more modern campaigns.
Battlefield campaigns can be pretty fun, actually.
Yeah. Battlefield 3, I haven't gone back to play the campaign, but sometimes I'll just watch the cutscenes because the framing device of the story is that the main character, Sergeant Blackburn, is being like interrogated by these 2 like people from the CIA who are just kind of like asking him about his involvement in this huge military operation in which he ended up kind of intersecting with a Russian agent, and essentially this American agent and this Russian agent working together to try and avert war between their countries. And it was really interesting and like really well written scenes. And granted, it did come from an era where like if it wasn't Call of Duty, the campaigns could be very like so linear and so like handholdy that they weren't the most fun, but direction wise they could be pretty entertaining.
Yeah. Especially I felt one of my favorite missions of the Battlefield 1 campaign was like that Lawrence of Arabia type mission.
Oh yeah. Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 both were doing they did this trend of like war stories within the era. I never played either of their campaigns, but I've heard good things.
I'm pretty sure that on Game Pass we don't play them.
I have actually. I have Battlefield 1. I also technically have Battlefield 5
Wait, Battlefield
because
5's on Game Pass?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I have Battlefield 5
I'm pretty sure.
through PlayStation Plus.
And guess what? I don't need to play the campaign, probably. Maybe. Then EA.
Yeah. Oh, true.
So your second is Battlefield 2042.
Yeah. My third is the Xbox mini fridge. No, I actually kind of want to buy one only because of the meme, but I'm probably not going to.
Also, I no joke, I really would like to get a mini fridge for my room.
You know
Did you
what's
just
funny?
get the Xbox mini?
I'm assuming it's just a Series X built into a mini fridge, right?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's
built-in
just
cooling.
I was thinking that. I was like,
no, it's an actual mini fridge just in the shape of an Xbox.
well, now I'm as sad. I thought it was a Series X built into a fridge.
Well, they would have had to. They're going to charge people like $800 for that
way
shit.
more expensive.
Dude,
but
but
kind of
imagine
worth it.
this. Yeah, it could
I
cool
mean,
your
don't get me wrong,
Xbox.
that would be cool, but at the same time, you're going to have a fucking giant mini fridge next to your TV.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be that bad.
I
A lot
bet
of people
you.
have mini fridges by their TV. I'm
Give it
sure,
5 years, you're going to see a PC gaming case with a built-in fridge. For the sake of, so you get the cooling
That'd be
factor.
Oh yeah,
And also, like for the PC,
That's pretty cool.
I mean, it'll be a more expensive case, obviously. Or you know what? Honestly, I'd love to make one custom, like just like try to just build a fridge into the case.
Honestly, realistically, you could probably just fucking build a PC
Build a PC case.
into a fucking freezer, and it would be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not, because it would probably. I don't know.
Not a freezer, but a fridge.
Even a freezer, maybe.
Maybe.
Ice. It would just be the ice buildup that some freezers have. Like if you have it too cold.
Mhm.
But if you don't have it that cold, honestly, I think you could probably do it in a freezer, because like extreme cold for PCs usually aren't too bad. It's extreme heat will kill a PC, but extreme cold usually is fine. I mean, unless it's like super 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 cold, but like don't like dip it in liquid nitrogen kind of thing.
So what was seriously your third favorite thing?
You know, I'm like looking because I was trying to remember everything I watched. So wait, what did I say already? I said Battlefield. Battlefield. Halo. Fuck, dude. I don't know, because I'm trying not to just be like an Xbox shill and be like, yeah, Sea of Thieves, but like honestly, I think maybe Elden Ring. Maybe I'll say Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Or Far Cry 6. Honestly, there's not that much.
Far Cry 6. Far Cry 6 was interesting.
Capcom's E3.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch it.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
As far as I know, as far as I have seen, it was only just Monster Hunter, and it was just the 2 games that are already out, or at least one coming out. And,
I remember, there was a black screen that said, due to the high critical acclaim, we're happy to announce that we are working on a Resident Evil Village DLC. That was it.
Oh, yeah. They did that, and then they're like, Monster Hunter Rise was like, oh, are they saying when it's going to come to PC? And they're like, is going to have a crossover with Monster Hunter Stories 2.
Oh,
and I was
my
like,
God.
oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah.
What about you, Colin?
Wait,
man.
I didn't say my third. I'm sorry. Oh, no,
that
I did.
wasn't your
no,
third?
I guess it was. Yeah, sorry, excuse me. I'm like, I don't know. I'm torn because I'm trying to remember all these, because I am actually excited for the Replaced game. That I actually am really excited for that. Far Cry 6, I'm actually kind of excited for, only because I really like Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah.
I like that the story actually has cutscenes where you can see your character.
Yes.
Thank God. I'm sorry. I'm really excited about that.
Same.
But yeah, I'd probably say, honestly, if I actually thought about it, I'd probably say Halo, Battlefield, and I'd probably say the Sea of Thieves update, honestly.
Cool. Yeah. Oh man. I would say Breath of the Wild, but I'm kind of like passively excited about it. It's not like
as far as I can tell, it's going to be like a Majora's Mask, like darker tone.
Yeah. He's got a fucking robotic arm and shit.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Nice.
Which was apparently the original concept of Breath of the Wild, but you know.
Instead they gave him an iPad.
Shit. Yeah, basically. Probably Outer Worlds 2 would be one of them.
Yeah. I was going to say, favorite trailer of all of E3? Outer Worlds 2 by far.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. That's fucking good.
Best trailer ever of any
You're probably
video
not
game,
even going
honestly.
to see this monster in the final game.
So you like this monster? He won't be in the final game. Running for some reason. Slow motion.
I immediately knew that it was Outer Worlds as soon as they showed the main character's outfit, because it was that generic space suit, plug suit type thing.
But also the announcer at some point I was like, oh, this has to be Outer Worlds. Just the the humor they're going for and the voice of the announcer. It just sounds very. It was either that or I was gonna say Fable in the beginning because at first it looked.
Oh, I forgot about Fable.
They didn't show
Wow, I'm surprised they
anything.
didn't show anything.
No, I'm really
Shit.
upset.
They
Same
didn't
with that.
show.
I think Fable and Avowed are probably gonna be either later this year or next year.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's so many things they didn't show, and we should preface sometimes we'll shit talk some of these conferences. We should remember there was a pandemic.
Well, yeah, that's
And
what
the
I'm saying.
pandemic definitely
Yeah.
did impact a lot of
I
things.
just-
100%.
I feel like if you're just,
But there's no excuse for that Square Enix conference. I'm sorry, that was absolutely abysmal.
What did they
Well, that's the
say?
thing. They shouldn't have even had a conference.
shouldn't have even
They
had a
just
conference.
fucking build it into Xbox.
Just
or
they
some
should
shit,
have
or
just
in a
released the
Nintendo or
trailer for
something.
the Guardians of the Galaxy game, which I know some people were pissed because some people were treating the Guardians of the Galaxy game as if whatever the next Deus Ex game was going to be died for that game to exist. Kind of the same way that what was the game that you
Inquisition. No, or not Inquisition. Dragon Age 4.
Dragon Age 4 what
Did that for
like,
Anthem.
Anthem
Fucking-
that's
Great
kind of like one of those and listen, I think Deus Ex is like one of the best franchises, like in terms of like sci-fi like RPG franchises. Like you can't get much better than Deus Ex.
More cyberpunk than cyberpunk.
Yeah, absolutely. So
now I'm pissed that Dragon Age 4 didn't get shipped.
if you were at all disappointed by Cyberpunk, which you probably were if you have a brain, then sorry.
Damn.
I'm sorry. There's so many people.
Yeah, if you like cyberpunk, fuck you. That's what he
there's
just
still
said.
so many people who suck that game's cock, and I'm sorry. Well, like Keanu Reeves is based. The story was pretty well written, but that game is a train wreck.
Yeah, no, I actually like the characters are cool.
The characters are great.
Jackie, my boy.
They're sort of great.
But yeah.
But yeah, Deus Ex Human Revolution and Deus Ex Mankind Divided, play those two. Awesome. They're great.
Oh, when they say Outer Worlds 2 is coming out, did they even
Probably
say?
Nah, they
2022.
just said.
Yeah,
I would assume
like everything's 2022
Everything's
at this point.
2022.
Fuck.
Again,
Second,
I will say, actually, like, I feel like a lot of Xboxes is also just telling you how good of a fucking deal Game Pass is, because they're like,
yeah, basically.
every month we have a new game coming to this fucking
Game Pass is
platform.
really
like,
stepping
I'm really
up,
happy
though.
for them. I'm really happy.
I
that
just
Game
like
Pass
because
is
like when I
working
went
out.
on the PC Game Pass, Game Pass Ultimate, like on PC, it was literally just like the Yakuza series. I'm like, yeah, this is literally all.
Oh yeah, and they added Like a Dragon.
Yeah, they did.
to
Everything's
Game
on
Pass.
there. There's a
I'm
bunch
probably
of
still
here.
probably
Go ahead.
never-
I'm
probably
gonna
still-
let you finish your
Okay.
actually top three, but
Yeah.
I want to look this up. As well.
Never thought I'd say this, but I'm actually excited for Far Cry 6. Like we said, Far Cry 6,
Mhm.
pretty hyped for
Is that your number one?
No. Number one was something that, can I include something that's not even at E3, but it's coming out in the same time
Sure,
of
fuck it.
E3 games?
That's how disappointed he was with this. Secret.
You guys
Wait.
know Chucklefish, the indie publisher? He
Oh, you're
published
talking about the Harry
Stardew?
Potter thing?
Witchbrook? Dude, I've been fucking following that
since
for
the
4
yeah, I would say
years.
since the initial.
4 years.
Wait, I'm surprised. Was it Ubisoft that they didn't say anything about the Harry Potter game?
Well, are they developing it?
No, it's
thought it was Ubisoft, wasn't
it's
it?
Warner Brothers.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are they doing? Maybe Warner Brothers doing something? Because I feel like they were doing
Warner
Lord of
Brothers
the Rings
Montreal. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some
the point
studio.
is, Witchbrook, in the 4 years since they've announced it, they've barely updated the website for it in that 4 years. And now, finally, the Chucklefish Twitter says, now working on Witchbrook, coming out late 2021 or early 2022.
Was this the game that they showed the trailer for?
No, what?
Wait, do you remember that when they had a trailer for like not this year, but like they had a trailer for a Harry Potter game, and it was like,
Imagine
what
if
is this?
Stardew Valley met Harry Potter, is what this is.
I don't know. I don't.
Okay.
Is this the same thing that I'm thinking of? Because I'm thinking of the game that people were like, "Oh, you get to go to Hogwarts and make your
You're
own
thinking
wizard."
of Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh,
Two different
okay.
games.
So what are you talking
I'm talking about Witchbrook is like, you've seen Stardew Valley, right?
But is it a Harry Potter?
No, it's a
just
different thing.
Harry Potter esque.
Oh,
Is what he's
okay.
trying to say.
Yeah, hold
I have
on,
no
hold on.
idea.
I'm showing you little screenshots
Okay.
real quick.
But those are your three: Far Cry.
Fucking cute as fuck. Yeah.
So there's Far Cry. There's
Outer Worlds,
Outer
and
Worlds
then
2,
Witchbrook, which
and
technically
Witchbrook,
even
which
at
technically
E3,
wasn't even
but-
E3, but is symbolic of your disappointment with E3.
Yes.
So I guess for me, so initially my list was Elden Ring, Death Stranding Director's Cut, and the promise of things to play if I ever get a Switch. And then the fourth one is like, and Outer Worlds 2. But fuck those last two. That game that you were talking about, Replaced. That game,
that looks good.
I keep forgetting the title, but it looks so beautiful that I have to play it. Like, there are a couple of games that, like, I don't usually go for, like, the more pixel art games, but ever since I played, what was that game where you play as a ninja, You play as a guy with
Katana Zero.
Katana Zero. The Katana Zero where you can slow down time and do cool shit. So that looks really, really beautiful. Death Stranding director's cut, because I already really think that Death Stranding was a really awesome game, and I'm excited to see what Kojima can do with the director's cut. And if it's just like kind of the stopgap between between this and whatever his next project is going to be, I'm just excited for whatever. And Elden Ring, because I already think that the level design, when you get down to the way that they construct worlds and From Software games, like going from place to place and like, oh yeah, I open this door so I can get back to the bonfire, and it's like, and all this cool, like, it's already kind of, it's not an open world. It's more like Zelda-esque sandbox, place to place interconnectedness.
Right.
The idea of them making a larger open world that obviously requires horse traversal, that you can actually use the horse.
Or was that a stag?
I don't know. I can't.
A stag, but
It was a horse, but I'm pretty sure you can actually. They were saying there's almost like a Pokemon kind of thing where you can basically catch or like somehow collect the enemies that you kill or something like that. So I'm assuming maybe you collect your mount or something.
You know, I will say one of my problems. I'm not gonna go in my Soulsborne rant but you know what my problem is magic in these games. Is magic is seen as cheese to the Dark Souls community.
I wouldn't know.
And I want them to somehow innovate it so it's not cheese.
I mean, from the trailer, it looked like they were adding more magical abilities.
Right.
And they were stressing it a bit.
Because that's one of my main problems with these types of games is you either go speedy, dodgy build or chunky tank build.
You know what I'm excited for? I'm excited to see how horses can be used in combat.
Oh,
because to me, it looks like they're taking...
They're going to throw my horse at the boss.
You remember Gyobu Masataka from Sekiro, the guy on the horse with the spear?
Yeah.
I feel like they're trying to make it so that you, as the player, can fight on a horse kind of like that guy.
Right.
Because that would be interesting if you could actually have entire other dimensions, like certain bosses could be like strategically fought better with the horse.
You know, that kind of reminds me of his Twilight Princess, actually. They did a little bit of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But did you finish your top three?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I kind of ran through the other ones. So replaced Death Stranding director's cut. There was a nice the trailer they had. I thought was cool because it was basically hammering the nail in that Kojima's done with Metal Gear Solid and has fully moved past that and is now moving on to newer things and newer ideas.
Better things, hopefully.
Yeah. Which I mean, listen, Metal Gear Solid is still a wonderful franchise. But you know, it's nice to see that he'll be moving on and creating something even cooler in the future.
I feel like if I was to redo my top three right now from what I remembered, the real thing that I would want to spend my money on is just more Game Pass. Because they have basically everything I just said that I wanted on Game Pass. And it's all like literally so you know the Dungeons and Dragons game that coming out, Dark Alliance?
Yeah.
It's coming out on Game
Pass.
That's not in 4 days it's coming out on Game Pass.
Funny thing is I was like, I don't really give a shit about this game, but now I'm
That's what I'm saying.
Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass. The game called Ascent. It's on Game Pass.
You know what's funny is there's another D&D game called Solasta that came out a few weeks ago. I bought it for $40 because I was like, oh, there's no way this is going to be on Game Pass. And then Michael texted me like, it's on Game Pass, right? I'm like, shit, maybe I can get a refund. Got a refund.
And see, the point is, like, hey, you're saying you don't want to pay for Halo. It's on Game Pass. Even the campaign. So if you wanted to play it, I mean, it's free anyway. It's multiplayer. But I'm just saying,
Dark Alliance together, guys.
I'm down. Sure. Literally in 4 days. Yeah, but are we gonna play Sea of Thieves or Dark Alliance?
We gotta decide. We gotta make tough choices.
I feel like
we're adulting.
Gonna be more fun, but Dark Alliance.
Dark Alliance is kind of just like a Diablo beat 'em up. I feel
like we should do Sea of Thieves instead. I feel like we'll have more fun doing Sea of Thieves.
Granted, I will admit,
game Scorn is going to be on Game Pass.
I've heard about
your game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're winner of E3 Game Pass.
That's what I'm saying. Back for Blood. Yeah. Whatever that is. Isn't that like the?
That's the spiritual Left 4 Dead successor.
Yeah, that's gonna be on Game Pass.
The reason I didn't really care about Dark Alliance,
literally this whole list right here that you're looking at, this is all this year on Game Pass,
dude.
And then there's a whole other list.
Scarlet Nexus is on Game Pass.
Did any of you ever play?
No, sadly.
Did any of you guys ever Did any of you guys ever play A Plague's Tale?
I did. Oh, I fucking love that game.
The
So
sequel.
good.
Yeah, the sequel. They showed it. They had a trailer for the second one.
I gotta look that up.
Through Xbox, guess what? Probably gonna be on Game Pass.
Probably.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
You know-
coming,
oh my God!
coming day one in the future of Plague Tale Requiem. I'm pretty sure it's because Xbox bought.
Is it the same? Is the same sister brother team?
Think so because
think
there was a
so.
girl with a
Okay.
crossbow
Either that
in the
or her
trailer.
brother might be dead.
Okay.
Because the whole trailer was like.
Spoilers for Innocence if you're ever gonna play it. Do you care? That doesn't
he's
care.
fine.
Point is, I loved it, except at the end, which was kind of ridiculous, but also kind of awesome. You basically have a rat wizard battle
Oh.
where your brother's a fucking rat wizard with like the Pope rat wizard, and you just fight each other with rats.
That actually is kind of funny though.
Yeah, that's pretty great. Okay, we're done.
All right.
Point is, Plague's Tale Innocence. Fucking, I just on a whim, because I was bored and nothing was coming out at the time. I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. It's a fucking great game.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like with Game Pass, Xbox has really like found their thing.
Oh yeah.
Because like Replace is gonna be on Game Pass next year.
Oh
Stalker 2.
wait, Stalker 2 is coming to Game Pass.
Starfield, Outer Worlds 2.
Fuck, dude.
Atomic Heart.
Atomic Heart.
Redfall, which is the whatever that vampire looking
The vampire
thing
game
is.
from the creators of Dishonored.
I was like, I feel like
Real
like
Windows
they're
Game Pass.
kind of taking the whole best deal in gaming to heart because it kind
Oh
of
yeah,
is.
Shit.
fuck, dude.
Holy fuck!
Because like
And they're
Dark
all-
Alliance,
that's all
right?
day one. As soon as it comes out, it's on Game Pass.
I feel like
bruh.
because going back to Dark Alliance, I'm like, I'm sure I'd probably get that game eventually, but it'd be
But,
one
like-
of those games where I was like, I just get when nothing's coming out and I'm
Yeah.
bored. But like, shit.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I looked at it, I was like, and then I was like, oh, you can't really create your own character. I was like, whatever. Like, I'm kind of iffy on it. But then now it's on Game Pass. Fuck, I'll play that shit.
Shit.
When Germa was streaming the E3 press conferences, when Phil Spencer showed up, he was like, "Oh, Phil!" He was so excited.
Okay, I asked this to the group. I don't know if Michael saw it, but I'm like, is Phil Spencer on the same meme level as Todd Howard?
I think so.
I
Or
feel
he's
like
getting
he's
there.
lower, though, you know?
No,
Maybe
I
a
think
bit
so, but
less so.
I think actually, if you're talking memes, I feel like on the same level, but it depends on what type of meme. If you're talking about like memes that are funny but are still like for him, I think he's higher.
Yeah.
But memes that are funny but are usually like kind of hating on Todd Howard's higher.
Okay.
Because people hate on him more, I think, than Phil.
Right, yeah.
At least when it comes down to memes, I feel like.
I remember when Funhouse played A Plague's Tale. Elise was super into it because it was totally like an Elise game.
Oh, yeah.
And you know the rest of them were kind of like goofing. And then Elise was like, "All right, how many views does this need to get for us to do a part 2 of this gameplay?" And then Bruce was like, 1 million views. And he was like, "No, that's too much." And then for the next like several episodes, they kept doing like an update on like, "Oh, what's that view count at?" I don't think they ever made it to 1 million. But I heard it was a good game.
Great game.
I'm so glad that I could excite you with the prospect of that sequel.
It's good.
All right, well, obviously that made his top 3.
It's not very. Actually, yeah, that's a fair point. What
That
should I
can
replace?
dethrone the one that wasn't even
Ooh,
83.
No, that's still.
Oh,
no.
really? So it has
No.
to dethrone one of the ones that was
fuck.
actually at
Oh,
E3?
fuck.
Yeah, right?
Outer,
Come on.
Outer Worlds gets the boot.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what was the other one?
Far Cry.
Really?
It was
Yeah.
Outer Worlds, Far Cry 6, and then the one that wasn't even at E3.
I personally think Far Cry 6 looks more fun than I had with Outer Worlds.
Okay. Yeah, but I feel like what it is now is because the Outer Worlds that we all played,
Yeah,
that was before they had Microsoft money.
that's fair.
So now they're gonna have Microsoft
You know-
money and not have to worry about trying to like now they can just put wholeheartedly into whatever the fuck they
and
want.
remember, Outer Worlds, that was finished for like what, like
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, and then
They were-
Microsoft was like, "Oh, you want us to publish it for you?"
Yeah,
So now it's like they literally have Microsoft money to make this game,
Can't
and
wait.
I have a feeling it's gonna be
I can't.
even like
wait.
just fucking
Yeah.
amazing.
you know, I went back recently and restarted Outer Worlds because fucking in like those Elder Scrolls Fallout types of games, I always do stealth characters because they're most fun, even in like town spaces.
It's also because you could one shot
Well, that
usually
too.
anything. It's
But-
you get like a 5 times damage multiplier.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe more with a headshot.
but the deal with sneak characters is it actually gives you something little cheeky to do in town zones, you know. If you're just fucking big bash with stick man,
I have stick, I bash in head.
there's really nothing you can do in towns besides
You go and
quests
bash
and
people's
buy
heads
shit.
in.
Yeah, but like
Or are you
Like-
trying
like
to be? What are you trying to be,
fucking-
pickpocket man?
fucking potion shop in Whiterun Literally every time I was in Whiterun, I just perform a heist of all her potions and then leave.
Oh yeah, I mean I did that
Yeah.
even if I wasn't a stealth person, and I would just save, and if I get caught, I just reload and try to steal it again.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or because I was big man with a stick, I would just kill them, and nobody
Take
would
the
notice,
key.
and take
You
the
just
key
come
and
back.
take all the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Good point.
So, maybe E3 wasn't that bad at all.
Yeah. Well, for me, I mean, again, I feel like I'm being an Xbox show. I'm not trying to, but that's why Xbox to me won. Just because it's like literally, they announced all that, and they literally basically announced a lot of these games. You're going to be seeing at least one of these things that we announced a month, and then also all is on Game Pass.
You're giving me a point of now every time I'm looking forward to a game, I need to check if it's going to be on Game Pass.
Literally,
Yeah.
because. And supposedly what I've been hearing as a rumor is that there's actually studios that are fighting to put their game on Game Pass.
Really?
Yeah, like it's that much of a good thing. Like
Well,
people always like, oh, well, how are they making money? I don't know. Obviously, they're making money
I was
somehow
about to
because
say,
people
how
want
they-
to be on that thing.
how they
So,
get on it? Yeah. I
That's a
don't
good
know.
question.
yeah, I don't.
But,
fucking know.
Maybe they get like a cut of the subscription. or something.
probably.
Probably.
Oh,
Well,
but how would that be divvied up actually, though?
I don't know. But
question.
what I also heard though is
Probably works the
that
same way that they give like shows on Netflix money.
right. Well,
Yeah.
that's another thing is that there's always the people who want to own it. So what it is Game Pass gives you a discount, usually by 20% at the very least. So people would at least play it on Game Pass, be like, wow, I actually like this game, and they actually saw an increase of sales because more people had
Really?
access to it first before they bought it.
So better word of mouth. So then maybe people who even don't have Game Pass,
Right.
maybe
So it's like they're getting paid to have their game on there, and then they're getting paid because people are like, "Damn, I actually want this," and then buy it.
Shit,
So
I can
you've
see
actually changed my mind. Originally, Ex Bethesda was a C. Then I moved it up to a B at the start of this topic, and now I've moved it up to an A along with Nintendo.
Nice.
I think Ex Bethesda was actually a really good press conference.
Sony's was bad.
Well, they weren't there. I mean, it's State of Play.
That's why I was
But by the way, can I just say,
Are they doing a Sony Play or whatever?
because
I can't remember
they
what they
did
call
one
it.
not
State
long.
of Play.
They did one not long before E3. That's when of all the fucking virgins were complaining about the way that Alloy looked in the new Horizon game.
Oh,
You look
yeah.
exactly the same.
Exactly, but people took very specific screenshots of her. It's like, why does she look all fat? Why does she look? Why doesn't she?
Christ.
Look, why don't all women in video games look like strippers?
I
Why
kind
do
of
they
want to
look like
play
real
that
women?
because it's on PC now, so I kind of want to download it and play it.
Same.
Horizon. Listen, I haven't finished Horizon Zero Dawn because it was one of those like games where it's like an open world action
A lot
adventure
to do
game.
kind of thing,
There's
and you
crafting
have-
and stuff like that. It's a lot to do, and I was like, do I want to do the time commitment now?
See,
I didn't at the time.
That's my issue is that a lot of these games nowadays have turned into open world, do whatever, which I'd like,
Exactly.
don't get me wrong, but because so many games are doing it, I have so much to do in all these games. I'm like, fuck, I need to, like, there's games that are like really easy, kind of just go forward and do the story kind of thing. So I'm like, I'll just do those. And then I just end up not
I
going back to
remember
the other ones.
Lawrence from Funhouse when they were doing their drunk E3 thing,
Mhm.
and it was back before Horizon Zero Dawn came out, and the minute he saw like a crafting menu and dialogue trees, he was like, "No, they're
Wait.
eclipsing their scope."
What game is this?
Horizon Zero Dawn,
Oh,
because he was just like, "No, don't do this."
wait, there's dialogue trees in Horizon.
Yeah.
I
But
thought you
it's-
played it, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
No,
it's on
he doesn't
PC,
have.
buy
He
it.
doesn't have a PlayStation.
I know, but I know I've been meaning to buy it on PC, but then if Flood Games came out, I wanted to play more than that.
Yeah.
So wait,
makes
when
sense.
is this Witchbrook supposed to come out?
Oh, fuck, I don't know,
Knows?
dude. Like late
I didn't even know it
21.
existed.
He's been following it for 4 years. but he
Fucking
doesn't-
He's been
4
He's been following it for
years.
4 years.
I was hyped the
Jesus.
second they
Oh
announced
yeah, I
it.
tried trying to be excited for Final Fantasy 15, but
Try it, and then look how that turned out.
yeah, it was fucking all right.
That was okay.
It wasn't terrible, but it was.
Which
all right.
game?
Final Fantasy 15. I said try being excited for that because I followed that shit for a long time.
You know what? I'm Final Fantasy VII remake, arguably about as long of a wait because of the early like times. No, it was definitely not as long of a wait. That game was incredible, and I hope that when it eventually comes to PC or Xbox, you guys will play it
Oh.
because
I plan on playing it whenever it comes to one of them. Although if it's on the Epic Game Store, I might not buy it on there. Only because, like, honestly, I'm trying not. I don't like the fact that I have to buy it on 5 different stores. Like, I just want everything to be on Steam, so I can just buy it on there.
Yeah, but like at the same time, you want there to be competition.
I
in the
know,
market.
I know. I do. That's
And I
when
just
I
like to
said
remind-
it, I was like, yeah, there don't
and
want
I
to be
just like to remind you, Steam is free to download. So is Epic Games.
I
Video
know.
Player.
It's just more of like I have to like, I have both of them open. Then it's like, oh, let me look at my game library. Oh, wait, I forgot. I have to look at this, and I have to look at both.
And Steam ain't perfect. They fucked up.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I mean, there's really no. It's just because I'm lazy, and I end up forgetting about games that I have because I don't look. Like, I forgot that I have Warzone downloaded because I always go to Steam to look at my games. And I'm like, oh shit, I forgot I have Warzone. It's taking up a whole hard drive that I have.
Oh yeah, because on PC it's through the Blizzard Battle.net. So the 15 days of E3, both the main days that people typically give a shit about during the main week. Well, it was 15 days because there's like there's a lot of stuff that goes on, in those days. It's not just the 1 week of press conferences that everyone always gives a shit about. There's other stuff. There's other interviews and events.
Xbox Design Lab. I'm happy that's back.
Oh yeah, that's back. So now you can customize your controllers.
Your Series X controller can be customized.
Somebody did designs of controllers that were exactly the same color palettes as Ava Unit 1 and Ava Unit 2 from Evangelion.
This one's going to be mine.
That one looks really cool.
Orange and purple. I like it.
Ooh.
Bella made hers as well.
Oh yeah. I love Bella's taste in colors. That light blue is great.
Oh sure, yeah. You hate my orange, but you like her light blue.
Well, no. Listen, it's because you know why? It's because of all the pride flags, the trans flag is to me the best flag because it's that white, that light blue, and that pink. I think that it is the cutest flag.
Speaking of that, the Xbox Pride stuff looks cool
the Xbox
too.
Pride stuff.
I'm sorry, I'm really in the Xbox mood now after all that. But their Pride thing, I actually want to buy one of those. I want to buy the Halo shirt with the Master Chief and the advisor.
I would like to buy a Pride controller. So I actually sell one of the 2 Xbox One controllers I have to get. Yeah. Oh, but would it be
It's one controllers are compatible with all.
But our Series X controllers?
Yeah, I believe they're back compatible still.
Oh, thank God.
I'm pretty sure.
Good.
Yeah, because I'm still using my one controller.
Yeah, but he's talking about going from future.
I mean, I don't see why not.
But I'm pretty sure it's still.
I hope so, because they also have a share button, right? So I hope that would make sharing clips easier.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, thank God. Okay, good. Because when I'm playing Chivalry and I do something really cool, I don't like to compromise myself to save a cool moment.
Yeah.
But there was what?
It says the controller isn't for sale.
What?
Damn it!
They like to make bank off that.
It's still Pride Month.
That too.
So. But there was.
It's because it's being gifted to select LGBTQIA plus creators and media in recognition of their contributions to the gaming space.
That's fair.
But still, that actually looks.
I really hope
I want it though. It's fucking cool.
You'll probably see it on eBay for like $20 billion.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh God, I really want it. You could probably make your own version of it similar to it. Netflix Geeked Week, because Netflix was there was NX, which was the Twitter account for Netflix that always had it was always the Twitter account for Netflix that always focused on the anime and all the cool edgy stuff. But then they rebranded to Netflix Geeked, so stuff particularly aimed at us
geeks,
basically.
Wow, what are you trying to say, bro? You're trying to call me a geek?
And so they had a whole week of announcements, and my Twitter feed was just blowing up with all kinds of cool shit. And so I'm just going to run through some of these, because some of these, I'm probably more excited for it than a lot of you guys.
I mean, to be fair, I literally know none of them, so...
All right, well, so let's go through it. First off, now that Castlevania is over, there is a Castlevania spin-off following Richter Belmont, who you might know from, if you haven't played the Castlevania games, you'll probably know them from Smash Brothers. Richter Belmont.
I know him. From Smash.
And it'll be set in during the French Revolution, around that time period.
When was the other show set?
The
actual
the main series was 1400s in Wallachia, which is Romania,
Transylvania,
right?
which is in. Fuck, I'm playing too many Crusader memes. I was gonna say Bulgaria, but I think you're right. It's in modern day Romania.
So then also they've been releasing some little tiny teasers on Twitter for the second season of The Witcher. But I think we're going to get a full trailer.
Do you know when that's supposed to come out?
Well, let me finish. WitcherCon is happening July 9th.
Oh, there's a con for that?
Yeah.
Now there is.
WitcherCon is going to be, I think...
There is now.
Which I'm hoping there's going to show some of the animated Netflix show.
Well, yeah, because the poster they had for it had Geralt's Witcher and also the video game Witcher. So hopefully who knows what they'll announce. They also, speaking of video game stuff, so there is a live action Resident Evil movie that's going to be coming later in the future that's like a Hollywood Resident Evil film, which has like all the video game characters. It looks like it's going to be pretty faithful to the games, and the casting has actually been really impressive so far. But what I'm really intrigued by is that there is a Resident Evil Netflix series.
It's animated, right?
No, it's live action.
Oh, I thought it was
It
animated.
stars Lance Reddick. You might remember him from he plays the one he plays the guy from the Continental in John Wick. The guy,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
the guy
okay.
at the front desk.
Wait, front desk. Okay. I was trying to remember. I thought you were talking about the manager.
And
guy.
he's playing Albert Wesker. So
I don't know who that is. I'm sorry.
He's like the blonde bad guy with the glasses from the Resident Evil games.
Well,
Basically-
spoiling it now. I know he's a bad guy. No, I'm just kidding.
But and they also have like Ella Balinska, who is like an actress that she was in the newer Charlie's Angels movie, but she's also going to be. I sent you a clip, Colin, of that weird looking fantasy game with that woman like using magic to like kill bears and shit. But then you were like, oh, that's only coming out on PlayStation. I was like, oh,
the one where you're fucking zipping around.
Zipping around.
Yeah.
So she's like getting into some more stuff recently, and so she's also going to be in the Resident Evil series. Some people have already kind of said like, oh man, this show's going to be dead on arrival, but it's for the usual shitty reasons. They're just kind of sad. They're just kind of like salty because they race swapped Albert Wesker, and also because there's like mostly a cast of women. So that's most. So there's realistically no reason at all to be dismissed, to be actually critical of the series so far. Arguably might be like getting red flags, and if you look at the staff list, and because I think one of the writers of Supernatural is involved.
Hey, I mean that's. It was in the beginning. It was in
the beginning. It was good. So maybe some people are like, "Oh, that's interesting. This could be really lean into some of the." I'm
actually still enjoying Supernatural. So,
but I think some people might look at it and be like, "Oh man, is this going to be like CW tier like drama using the Resident Evil brand?" Which like I get it. I'm still intrigued. There's going to be a Far Cry animated series.
Look, Ubisoft has been promising so many animated series, and I've seen a single thing.
Listen, if the Assassin's Creed movie is to go off of anything,
which we still gotta watch,
we still have to watch it.
It may or may not be great.
But also,
I remember a lot of people saying the Assassin's Creed movie was pretty meh.
There was a separate tweet, which makes me think these are two separate projects. There's also going to be a Blood Dragon animated series.
Is it animated? I thought that was I thought that was a game.
It is. It's a DLC to 3.
It was a DLC to 3.
No, I'm talking about I thought there was a new game. That was an animated thing, or are they doing both?
Both, probably.
Because I remember, because after Far Cry, I saw something. They said Blood Dragon something.
You're thinking of the weird crossover they did with that BMX game at one point.
Trials, whatever.
Yeah, Trials.
But the point is,
literally, they just announced at E3 something about Blood Dragon.
Something about Blood Dragon.
That's what I was saying.
They pitched it as
I know what it was. It was probably Matt. I know. I even.
It's something. It's something. Bundled with the season pass for Far Cry 6.
You get to play as all the villains from the games.
And there's probably I think there's going to be like a remaster of Blood Dragon and packed into that. That's what I interpret that trailer to have meant. There's a Splinter Cell series, animated.
Not a game, but a series.
Written by Derek Kolstad.
Oh, by my blank stare, that means nothing to me.
I'm going to be
Shining?
J. It's a J.
Oh, I heard John Wick.
John Wick. Yes.
I got it when you first said it.
A Splinter Cell series written by the writer of John Wick.
That's pretty dope, actually. Although, with the writer of John Wick?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that,
the same guy who was involved in recently with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay, never mind. That's cool then. Yeah. Well, because I feel like when I think John Wick, I don't think at least the first movie, I don't think about a crazy story or anything. It just kind of okay.
But I think that's something this is actually something concerning because they do have the same director working on the newer John Wick movies, 4 and onward. I think they're still gonna keep Chad Stahelski around since obviously his touch has been wonderful for stuff like John Wick, Hobbs and Shaw. Actually, wait, no, he didn't. Chad Stahelski worked on John Wick. But he did not work on
Hobbs and Shaw.
Wait, who the fuck? No, yeah, David Leitch. David Leitch is the guy who worked on the first John Wick, but then left and made Hobbs and Shaw.
Mm.
Chad Stahelski worked on all the John Wick movies and also was the second unit director on Birds of Prey, which is why the fight scenes were so cool. But then Derek Cole said, I think what he offered was that, because I would say that like John Wick, especially Chapter 3, John Wick is like the modern, and this is going to sound really pretentious. I think of the John Wick trilogy as like the modern day Homer's Odyssey. You think about it, like just constantly, just hero just being constantly beaten down.
I guess, yeah.
You know, like on this somewhat aimless journey. It goes from one objective to the other. He can never really settle down. You know, self-reflection, self-discovery. Especially the third film story with him, you know, trying to really kind of look for a reason.
Mr. Wick.
Yeah, like him trying to look for a reason to continue living, and you know, trying to find a meeting with the head of the high table to like make like a deal to get out of this life.
Right.
Yeah, I just think he's neat.
I just think he's pretty neato.
There's a Cuphead animated series.
See,
Oh, I saw that.
yeah, I don't know how I feel about it because again, promised us DLC when like the game first came out.
Oh yeah.
Where the hell is that?
I mean, we might have gotten it. I just feel like I don't care enough.
No, we
care about
haven't. Cause
We haven't? Have you actually been like keeping up with it?
yes,
Oh,
because
okay.
they said it's gonna keep pushing it back. Which, granted, I will give them COVID, but still.
I think it's because they ended up focusing on releasing on other consoles. Because now it's
Yeah.
on. It was originally only on Xbox, and then I think it's now on the Switch and PC. I think. So maybe that's what they
Yeah.
were focusing on more of, because like releasing it instead of trying to do DLC. But at this point, it's like, yo, give us something. They're probably just gonna end up saving it for like Cuphead 2, honestly.
Probably, but at this point, it's like I don't super care.
Right.
So it's
See,
just
but,
so
like-
long after.
But the thing is, even when they make Cuphead 2, you're gonna have fucking. It's gonna be on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
You know how there's so many studios that make these really dope CGI animated trailers, and we always say, just make a movie, just make a series,
Like Overwatch when it first came out.
like Overwatch, like Blizzard.
animated? Where the fuck is that?
Well, you know, another series that also does that all the time that has really dope trailers, and I always think I just want a series of this. League of Legends. Never played the game, not interested in it, but every time I see one of those
I will
trailers,
say the trailers look really
I get
dope.
so hyped.
And then you forget.
And then you
have to
actually play the
click to
game, you're like, what the
move.
fuck is that?
Yeah.
Arcane, a League of Legends series, is coming to Netflix. Animated in a similar style to those CG trailers.
My question is it going to be like Dota Blood Dragon, where I don't know anything? And
I have no idea. And you know what? Dota Blood Dragon, I'll admit I only watched that for two reasons. Well, actually, wait, was it two reasons? It was mostly because the main character... No, it was two reasons. One, made by the same people who made Legend of Korra, and that show is beautiful. Two, because the main character Davion got naked like all the time. It's really hot.
Fair enough.
So then also, Masters of the Universe, the classic show, the He-Man, basically.
Oh,
He-Man.
I was like, what are you talking about?
It's getting a revamp from Powerhouse
fucking-
Animation.
Can I voice Skeletor?
The same studio.
Mark Hamill voices Skeletor.
Oh, never mind.
actually.
I gotta give it to my man Mark.
And same studio that made Castlevania. I think different creative team, obviously, but still a good track record with that studio. Sans Blood of Zeus, which
Did he
kind of
also
sucked.
used to voice Skeletor? Or
I
is
don't
this
know.
new?
I have no idea.
That one.
Doesn't matter. He's a great voice.
He's a
actor.
great voice actor. I'm very excited for that show. So then we have a couple. I also listed here on my list of all the things. I just went as far back through their Twitter feed as possible. There's some shows that, in typical Netflix tradition, there's some shows that aired either during the winter season or the spring anime season that are getting released like this summer. Eden Zero. There's a reboot of Shaman King that's coming out.
How was that?
Huh?
I was like, I'm
that?
interested.
Shaman King was a shonen series from like, I'd say way back, not really way back, but
way
like
back when.
early 2000s.
Mhm.
And apparently, I don't know if maybe it was one of those cases where they diverged from the source material and ended it prematurely, but this is a new adaptation, which I don't know what people have been saying about it, probably because it hasn't been released like publicly on a legal streaming service yet, and because it was in kind of Netflix jail.
Right.
But which is the yeah, well, I mean that's kind of, it's the same thing with like, you know, Netflix jail. Amazon jail is even worse, because when Amazon gets the rights to something, like they got the rights to like Psycho-Pass 3, which means that like it's like, oh god, we are just never gonna get a fucking English dub for that, because like it just means that they're taking it away from like Funimation, who would have absolutely like already had it on Blu-ray by now. But then there's also a new Mobile Suit Gundam movie from director Shuko Murase, the guy who directed Genocidal Organ and Ergo Proxy. Great director. He is working on the new film Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway, which is kind of like a sequel to some of the
Anne Hathaway
other entries in the Gundam series. And, you know, at first I was like, oh man, this is awesome. I can't wait to watch it and be kind of confused, because I haven't really watched too much of the original Gundam. Gundam is weird because, you know, there are like, there's different continuities. There's some shows that are like set in alternate universes, but there is generally the what is known as the Universal Century timeline, which comprises
like actual canon.
Yeah, the actual canon. It's stuff from like the original series
kind of like
way
Legend of
back
Zelda,
when.
where they actually have like they
Yeah,
have like multiple timelines, but they have like the actual kind of canon almost.
there's the canon storyline.
Right.
So like there's the original series, then like Gundam Zeta, and then there's Char's Counterattack, the movie. There's Gundam Unicorn, and then Hathaway was actually a novel series that for a long time kind of was seen. There's some projects in Japan that where they always say like, oh, they said it was impossible to adapt. It's like, really? I don't think it was impossible. But this film, it looks gorgeous. I think I've shown you guys some trailers and some clips.
I still feel like if Anne Hathaway is not actually in, I would be upset.
Oh yeah, I'm writing.
Great.
It'd be like she just has to be like, I don't even care if she only has like one part.
There is a female lead in the film. It would be amazing if they got Anne Hathaway to voice her.
That would be pretty
hilarious. But here's the thing. At first, I was like, man, this is probably going to be something that only I watch, because I know a little bit about Gundam from what I have watched. But
I've played,
and you've played the game.
Dynasty.
Netflix does actually have a pretty good selection of Gundam stuff. Like they have Gundam Unicorn, which is like 7 episodes.
I was there when you found those.
Yeah.
You're like, they have what?
Yeah.
You found like 20 different series?
Well, no, I already knew about Unicorn.
Oh,
and I also knew about Iron-Blooded Orphans is another one.
Something that
but I'm about to get to that.
Oh, okay.
They added recently 4 new Gundam films. They added 3 films, which are all essentially those 3 films cover the entire original series of Gundam.
Huh.
And then the 4th film they added was Char's Counterattack, which was essentially like one of the biggest, most major events in the Universal Century timeline, because it's what like leads into stuff like Unicorn and Hathaway. And so what I think is that, you know, obviously the next thing we need to watch for a Culture Corner is Assassin's Creed movie. But since the Gundam Hathaway film is releasing internationally like July, I think we should do Assassin's Creed. And then I think if we're up for it, we should watch the Gundam movies together in anticipation of Gundam Hathaway.
Well, it comes out July. That's next month.
Yeah. But, you know, we got
Where,
they're
just movies, you said? Gundam? Oh.
Yeah, so there's
they
like...
make Gundam shows. I was like,
so there's 3 movies that like are basically recaps of the entire original series.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Char's Counterattack, which is like the end of like Mobile Suit Gundam. And then there's like Hathaway, which I think is like the first of like I think they're gonna make like at least 2 or 3 films in that continuity. But yeah, and then let's see, what else do I have here? There's a new Zack Snyder. I don't know if it's a series or a movie. I think it's gonna be a movie called Twilight of the Gods. And then the biggest announcement, well, not biggest, but the one that kind of is really cool. The Cowboy Bebop live action series for Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
The music will be done by Yoko Kanno. the original composer from the animated series.
Awesome.
Oh.
Listen, if I don't hear 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
The trailer where they announced that had that song.
Dude, are they going to actually show us like anything about that show or what?
Here's what I'm worried. Because sometimes, you know, when Netflix does shows for anything, they always release the trailer like 2 months before the show comes out. And it's coming out this fall. I hope that they'll at least show it 3 or 4 months beforehand so that we get it maybe next month or within the next 2 months we'll get a trailer. I guarantee it. The film is already, like, the show's already finished filming. I mean, they've got it pretty much finished. I think now they're just like post-production.
Right.
They're probably having Yoko Kanno finish up the score for it. I don't know if she's going to do original music. I imagine she would. So, because I mean, the members of the Seatbelts are still, you know, they're still alive and kicking. So, what a
time!
What a
the
time!
Last few weeks have been.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Wait, was that all of it?
That was pretty much it. That was pretty much it. Yeah, Netflix Geeked Week. There was much shit.
I was gonna say, there was a lot.
There was a lot of
I just
stuff
remember like people like freaking out about a lot of that stuff, but I only like just heard slight things about them.
Because I'm really the only person who's on Twitter.
I don't really go on Twitter. Like, I have a Twitter, I don't really use it. Honestly, I don't really use any of my social media accounts. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't expect me to do any social media.
But yeah, thanks for listening. You can links and everything in the description.
If one thing to take out of this conversation is go get Game Pass.
Yeah, go get
Honestly,
Game Pass.
like legit. Like, I don't care if you have a PC, just go fucking buy Game Pass. You're already gonna find a bunch
Here's
of games.
what you gotta do.
Oh yeah, and you'll get more games because some games are on Game Pass that are only on PC.
Here's what you do,
and you
guys.
get cloud gaming with Game Pass Ultimate anyways.
You gotta do what I did, because if you upgrade your subscription from Xbox,
No. Actually, no. I think they stopped something that you could do with EA Play. I don't think they stopped that actually yet.
Because what I did was I decided, because I had only recently gotten my Xbox subscription renewed. So what I did was I bought 2 extra years.
I like how you're speaking in a hushed tone.
Of
like Microsoft
Xbox
doesn't know you can do this already.
Like 2 extra years of Xbox Live Gold, because when you upgrade from Gold to Game Pass, the next 36 months, the next, like, anything that you have currently subscribed to and renewed in terms of a membership for within the next 36 months or 3 years gets upgraded automatically at no extra charge. So, bitches, y'all get to get 3 years of Game Pass at the same cost as you would 3 years of Xbox Live Gold. And then obviously you'll pay the normal cost after that. But for me, I mean, we've got so much shit coming out in the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking living like a king. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I'm really, truly I'm not gonna need to buy a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless
like
it just
the
happens
next
to
year or
not
two.
be on Game
Unless it's like
Pass.
one game, like Scarlet Nexus, I'll probably have to buy that. But like, besides that, I don't think I'll have to buy a game because all the other games I want are basically on Game Pass.
Yeah.
And Xbox Series X games are still going to be playable on Xbox One through cloud stream. So it's basically like playing a PC game
And
on
through
low
PC,
settings.
you can actually go to you can literally go to Microsoft Edge and just type in xbox.com/play, I think, and you could do the cloud thing there. I could do it on my phone. Like, literally, you just do the cloud wherever the fuck you want.
So I don't even need to get an Xbox Series X for ages.
Yeah.
And
basically.
then I can focus.
All to what I think Xbox philosophy at this point is: we don't care where the fuck you buy or play Game Pass. We just want you to buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that philosophy.
Working.
At this point, it's just going to turn into the Game Pass machine.
Oh yeah. You know what's
for
funny is that I shit on Stadia, and I still do. But
people who own Stadia shit on Stadia.
well, point is, I think Xbox is doing what Stadia's been attempting to do better.
Yeah, well, it's because, first off, Google has a terrible, I'm trying to think of the word I was thinking of, but they have a habit. They have a terrible habit of doing something, like making some special business something, and then putting some money into it, hoping people do something, and then when people don't, they just kind of quit on it and just let it die out.
Right.
Like Google Hangouts was the thing that's fucking gone. Like there's just so many things that Google did that is basically just gone. So I have a feeling Stadia is. I'm pretty sure they're just gonna let it die out.
Yeah.
So
True.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Game Pass.
Game Pass. You can follow us on Twitter at The Crit Spectrum. Also, The Critical Spectrum on Instagram. Links and everything in the description. New episodes every Monday at 10 a.m. Central Time. And video and the versions on YouTube. Those go up the next week. Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central Time. You have links to the places where I write stuff, sakurasunrise.blog, the anime blog that I've been writing since 2017, animequarterly.com, which I'm the managing editor for and have been since I've been working along with them since like August 2020. I also started a new blog, Sakura Shuffle. It's where I can kind of just sit back and write about topics unrelated to anime and kind of go beyond the boundary.
Hey, that's anime.
And
that doesn't count.
So I've already posted one thing. I posted my review and kind of essay about Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. I'm also working on writing. Yeah, I'm also working on. I already have finished another piece that I've gone peer edited by our good friend Josh. It's going to be an essay talking about Christopher Nolan's Tenet and particularly appreciating John David Washington's performance as the protagonist, as they're named in the film. And then I also am kind of working on a analysis of Assassin's Creed, and particularly why the assassins are really terrible at their jobs. So look forward to all of that in the near future. You're probably going to be right. I've been kind of slouching on the anime blogging, but that's only because I kind of got a late start to the newest season of shows. And I just figured, listen, it would be pointless to do a first impressions when literally next week half of those shows are going to be ending. So just expect reviews for cool shit. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.